Good morning, all, or good afternoon, or whatever your time zone you're in. It's been a little while since I have done one of these Facebook Lives, so forgive me if I'm a little bit rusty, or it may also be very, very short. I just wanted to get a couple under my belt because if you don't know me at all, I used to have a podcast and I used to do it every morning. But with the bad weather and with my iPhone breaking, I haven't made any podcast episodes at least recently. So I thought I would change over and I would do a couple of Facebook Lives just to kind of fill the gap until the weather improves and I get back to doing the podcast again. So today's Facebook Live is basically your business in that, with so many people out there at the moment who are in the self-publishing game, especially in low content books. A lot of people put content out there, but they don't actually have a face to the business. Now, a couple of years back, I don't know how long back ago it was, the NHS in England, people would actually be notified where their blood donation went to. So people would donate blood in the past and the pint of blood was taken away. It was sent off to wherever it went to, but people didn't know where it was a bit of a kind of, you didn't really know where the blood was going to, and you had no kind of end user or no person at the end, so you had no kind of face to go with where your donation went to. So what they did was a really, really clever idea. What they did was they started setting up a text message service. So what happens was when you would donate your blood or whatever, a couple of weeks later you would receive a text message and it would say that your blood had gone to such and such a hospital. Maybe your blood had gone to the maternity ward, maybe it had gone to the children's ward, or maybe it had gone somewhere else. When you made your donation, a couple of weeks later, you would know exactly where your blood donation went. So it was a really, really great idea. And in fact, it probably boosted blood donations because people had a face to go with the blood donation. It wasn't anonymous anymore. So that's what you need to think about your business. If you are writing fiction, non-fiction, if you're creating low content books or whatever, you need to kind of have a face on your business. It's so easy for somebody nowadays to clone your website. It's so easy for somebody maybe to go into a niche that you were in. So for example, if you were in low content books and say maybe you were doing books on wine tasting or cigar tasting or whatever it is, and you're creating a load of those long low content books, it's very easy for somebody to come along with a piece of software and find out exactly how many sales you're making per day. And if they find out you were making a pretty good, monthly income from those books, it's very easy for them to just to slot themselves into the same niche you're in and basically copy you kind of word for word, do the exact same covers or whatever, and then all of a sudden then you will find that you might be making as much money as you were making because there's more people now popping up in your niche. So for example, if you came along and you did something as simple as putting a face to your books and your business, it will separate you from everybody else because at the end of the day you can't really be copied. So one of the easiest things, and I had mentioned it in a blog post a long time ago to my list, I don't even know if some of them did put it into action, but one of the easiest things you can do is to set up maybe, as you're probably well aware, when you get a fiction book, the first couple of pages are probably the introduction and maybe even maybe a list of reviews from people who have read the book and have great results from it. So you will find some of those books will have a couple of pages where they're warming you up, maybe introducing you to the writer or whatever. So straight away when you get to the content of the book, that book isn't the same as everybody else's because there is a kind of a name and a face to that. Now, if you're doing something as simple as a low content book, there's no reason why you can't have the first couple of introductory pages set up to kind of putting a face on your business. Even a simple thing as only having maybe your picture on your book does separate your books from everybody else's. Most people will probably just throw up a bland, generic, low content book, but they never think of maybe putting a name to it or maybe just having a small introductory piece at the start of the book saying, I want to thank you very much for purchasing my low content book. It's been a dream of mine or whatever to help people out in whatever niche you are going into. And again, thank you very much for buying this book. And, if you ever want to reach out to me, if you ever want to ask me a question or whatever, you might have your email address on it. So when the person comes to your book, straight away they are met with a friendly face. They're met up with maybe an introductory piece. They're met up with you reaching out to them, asking if you can help them in any way. And straight away, that small page that you put on your book separates your book from everybody else out there. If you went into whatever, niche it was, I'm sure you will find probably 99% of people will just throw a book out there and never think of actually putting a name and a face with. So that's what I want you to think about today. Not even in your books, even in your Facebook page or whatever, even doing something as simple as doing these Facebook Lives or whatever. Having something that is putting a name and a face on your business, something that can't be copied. Because as I said, nowadays, it's very, very easy for somebody to come along and, get a piece of software, find out how many people are coming to your website, find out exactly what teams, what kind of, software you're using to create your website. It's very easy for somebody to come along and just completely copy everything and basically just clone your business overnight. But the only thing they can't clone is you. So give that some thought today if you are, whatever it is you're doing in your business. As I said, if you are somebody who maybe is in low content books, think about maybe, having a page at the start of your book, an introductory page, where you just simply have maybe a picture of yourself, a little small introduction, maybe a small, reason why you had done the book, and maybe asking the reader or the buyer if they ever want to reach out to ask you a question. Have something as simple like that, and it will make your book completely different from everybody else. As I said, they can copy everything else you do, but they basically can't copy you. So give that some thought today if you are creating something. And I hope, if you enjoyed this Facebook Live, if you want to maybe leave a couple of comments below, if you want to ask me to do a particular topic